Hey everyone, and welcome back to Evolve Every Day. Have you ever caught yourself scrolling through social media or just looking at the people around you and feeling a little behind? That nagging feeling that everyone else is progressing faster, doing better, or is somehow more put together than you are. It's a heavy burden to carry, and today we're going to learn how to set it down for good. We'll dive into a powerful ancient story about the secret to finding peace and contentment, not by looking outward, but by turning our focus inward. Stick with me until the end, because the lessons from this story might just change the way you see your own journey, and there are a few surprises in store that you won't want to miss. Once upon a time, in a monastery nestled among rolling green hills, there lived a young monk named Kalen. He was incredibly dedicated, pouring his heart and soul into his practice and the teachings of the Buddha. But despite his best efforts, Kalen had a persistent problem. He was constantly distracted by the progress of the other monks. Every single day during meditation, his eyes would wander. He'd find himself peeking at the others, wondering if they were sitting straighter or meditating deeper than he was. He couldn't help but compare his own journey to theirs, and the nagging sense of envy and frustration would bubble up inside him, convinced he wasn't advancing as quickly as he should be. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult meditation session, Kalen knew he needed help. He decided to seek guidance from the head of the monastery, a wise, compassionate master who had walked the spiritual path for decades. Kalen bowed respectfully and confessed his struggles. The old master simply offered a gentle smile, patting Kalen's shoulder reassuringly. "My dear friend," he said, his voice calm and warm, "your struggle is not uncommon. Many of us face this very same challenge on our path. You must remember, everyone's journey is unique, unfolding at its own perfect pace. Comparing yourself to others only serves to block your own progress." The Buddha taught us the profound importance of turning our focus inward and cultivating our own mindfulness, the master continued. When you are constantly looking outside of yourself, measuring your worth against the achievements of others, you create your own unnecessary suffering and discontent. The master then shared a short story with Kalen. "Imagine a vast, lush forest," he began. "It is filled with every kind of flower imaginable, each with its own unique beauty, its own special fragrance. The rose does not compare itself to the lily, nor does the orchid wish it were a daisy. They simply bloom, each in its own magnificent way, contributing to the breathtaking beauty of the entire forest." Looking deep into Kalen's eyes, the master said, "Just like those flowers, every single person has their own unique strengths and weaknesses, their own special qualities and virtues. Your path is a personal one. The key is to focus on tending to your own inner garden, rather than worrying about how fast someone else's is growing." Kalen listened intently, feeling a sense of peace begin to settle in his heart for the first time in a long while. The master went on, "Embrace mindfulness in every part of your life. When you meditate, be fully present in the moment and allow your mind to settle naturally. When you perform your daily chores, do them with full attention and care. In this way, you will discover a deep sense of contentment and peace, free from the heavy burden of comparison." Over time, Kalen diligently applied the master's advice. He poured his energy into practicing mindfulness, focusing on his own breath, his own steps, his own journey, without a single thought to the progress of others. Slowly but surely, he began to experience a profound sense of inner peace and self-acceptance. Then one day, while deep in meditation, Kalen felt a powerful shift inside him. He finally, truly understood that comparing himself to others had been a needless weight he had chosen to carry. In the quiet of his own heart, he embraced the wisdom of his master's words and realized that his own progress was unique and it was perfectly suited for his own spiritual growth. From that moment on, Kalen became an embodiment of inner peace and contentment. Like the flowers in the forest, he bloomed brightly, each of his actions reflecting his newfound wisdom. And so, Kalen learned the priceless lesson of focusing on himself instead of others, and his spiritual journey flourished, becoming an inspiration to all who crossed his path in that peaceful monastery. From a Buddhist perspective, the idea of a separate self is an illusion. We are all interconnected with the world around us. So when you truly focus on improving yourself, you naturally improve your relationships with everyone else. When you begin to take care of yourself first, you will see remarkable improvements in your health, your mood, your work, and your goals, whatever it is that truly matters to you. It's an amazing feeling when you realize you're standing a little taller, walking with more confidence, and simply feeling more joyful and happy in your own skin. In its most literal sense, focusing on yourself revolves around the practice of self-care, of meeting your own fundamental needs. Self-care is what allows you to turn your attention inward, back to your core. Every single one of us has basic needs that are absolutely crucial for our overall stability. Things like quality sleep, proper nutrition, physical movement, and genuine relaxation. When you start neglecting these, you rob yourself of the chance to recharge from the constant stressors of life. At first, you might not feel the effects, but eventually, you'll start to see some unwelcome changes in both your physical and mental well-being. To truly work on yourself, especially if you're a busy person or someone who naturally puts others first, you have to learn the art of assertiveness. This can look like learning to say no sometimes instead of always saying yes. It can mean setting clear boundaries around when and how you'll do things for others. It means giving yourself permission to turn off your phone when you need to, reclaiming that time and energy for the one person who needs it most, you. One of the most profound ways to find more happiness is simply to practice gratitude. We feel infinitely better about ourselves and our lives when we are thankful for what we already have. When you're truly grateful for your own journey, you stop focusing on other people and what they possess. You have to learn to step back from the drama, to set your own emotions aside for a moment so you can truly focus on your own path. This brings us to a fascinating question. Why do the most successful people so often prefer a quiet life? The truth is, those who live quietly often possess the greatest strength. Think about it. In a crowded room, can you really pick out the most brilliant person from the most ordinary? It's not as easy as it sounds, because the most powerful person is often the most silent one, making them incredibly hard to spot. In life, we all encounter people who just have to be the center of attention. They speak with an air of arrogance, almost desperate to make sure everyone knows who they are and what they've done. They'll take a small achievement and blow it up into something monumental. But honestly, this kind of behavior just makes them seem insecure. The more someone needs to show off, the more it proves that something is missing on the inside. Truly formidable people don't care about these things. Their inner world is rich, full, and calm. The quiet ones are usually the best listeners, often hiding in plain sight within a group. They know their limits, but they also know exactly what they need to do to become stronger every single day. There's a saying that a true master doesn't need to put on a show, because anyone who needs a show isn't a true master. If you just pay a little closer attention, you'll begin to see the profound difference in these people. We all know someone who loves to brag to their friends about how skilled they are, how influential they are, how many connections they have. But when a friend is actually in trouble and asks for their help, that grand image suddenly crumbles. Their loudness was just a way to inflate their own ego, a desperate cry for praise and attention. In any gathering, the person who is the most silent is often the one with the most substance. The more independent they are, the more capable they are. The less they say, the more they embody true humility. On the surface, a quiet person might not seem remarkable, but their inner world is incredibly powerful and deep, giving off an aura that they are not to be taken lightly. Sometimes, just a single look in their eyes is enough to tell you they are anything but ordinary. We also come across people who can never, ever admit defeat, even in the most trivial matters. The moment they encounter a differing opinion, they rush to declare their own, tearing down the other person's view just to prove how knowledgeable and superior they are. In their own mind, they may feel like they've won, but to everyone else, they've only lost respect. Soon, people stop wanting to engage with them because they disrespect others and see them as inferior. An old piece of wisdom says, "Among any three people, one can be my teacher." It means we should respect everyone, no matter who they are, and listen, truly listen until they finish speaking without rushing to interrupt with our own subjective opinions. The person who seems slow and detached, who doesn't jump into every debate, often has 1,000 arguments ready in their mind to silently dismantle the loud, chaotic points of their opponent. They might look indifferent, but they are intensely focused, observing and studying the situation. People might mistake their silence for a lack of ambition, but they are secretly honing their skills, waiting for the right moment. And when they find an opportunity that truly fits them, you can be sure they will leave all the meaningless noise behind and step into their power. To be humble doesn't mean to be a doormat, to just shrink away from every challenge. We've all heard that saying, "It's not what you know, it's who you know," as if the more friends you have, the smoother your path in life will be. And somewhere along the way, collecting friends became this crucial life mission. So often, we find ourselves hanging out with people we don't even truly like, just because we have a few mutual friends. We call them friends, but really, they're just people we eat with, drink with, and party with. There's no real, sincere connection. And when you genuinely need a helping hand, suddenly they're nowhere to be found. It's a sad state of affairs, to be surrounded by a crowd, but to feel utterly and completely alone. But you see, the truly strong, the truly successful people, they don't care about the number of friends they have. They care about the quality of those relationships. For them, 1 or 2 genuine, loyal friends is more than enough. While some people live in fear of being alone, these individuals have learned to not just tolerate solitude, but to truly cherish it. As we get older, there's a natural pull towards a quieter, more deliberate way of living. Our inner world deepens, enriched by experience, and our spirit begins to settle, seeking peace over the restless energy of our youth. Silence becomes our greatest tool for living with intention. In the quiet, we can finally think. We can see problems for what they really are, and in that clarity, we build the confidence to face whatever society throws at us. Wise, thoughtful, engaging time to communicate with our inner self, to truly understand who we are. Because it's only when we know what we want and what we have to offer that we can truly do anything well. When life is good and things are going your way, don't get so lost in the celebration that you forget what's important. Always maintain a small, quiet corner in your mind. It's your sanctuary, the place that keeps you grounded, clear-headed, and wise in your actions. Becoming too self-satisfied, too arrogant in your success only breeds envy in others, creating rivals you never needed. Remember, adversity is a tomb for the weak, but for the strong, it is a stepping stone. If you're someone who takes a little longer to heal, that's okay. Give yourself the private time you need to process things. This isn't about hiding until the storm passes, nor is it an excuse for laziness or despair. The only way through is through. You have to find the courage to face it head on, to find a real solution. This journey into quiet solitude, it's a difficult but necessary part of growing up for every single one of us. Don't let the wrong desires cause you to lose sight of yourself. It's only when you're alone that your body can truly relax, that your soul can feel a sense of peace and happiness. In life, don't demand too much. In our world today, so many people are caught in the hustle, working from dawn until midnight just to build a life of abundance, leaving absolutely no time for themselves, to just be still, to reflect, to feel their connection to the world. And when a person's mind is in turmoil, even golden opportunities feel terrifying, leading to an endless sense of loneliness. That kind of quiet isn't a gift that brings joy. It's a heavy, aching emptiness. True peace is found when you can close your eyes and see a beautiful world of your own making, not a nightmare filled with stacks of paperwork, the looming electric bill, or the tuition payment for your kids. This is where practices like meditation or yoga can be life-changing. They help clear the fog that life throws at you, allowing your soul to breathe and find tranquility. They allow you to connect with your heart, to understand your truest thoughts. It's like hitting pause on the relentless clock of life, letting go of all the worries, and just listening to that voice inside of you, having a conversation with your soul. It's about choosing to live a slower, more meaningful, high-quality life. A person with a quiet mind is a person with incredible strength. They find success more easily. Their inner core is so solid that they aren't shaken by the praise or criticism of the outside world. When trouble strikes, panicking only makes it worse. But if you can train yourself to manage your emotions, to take a deep breath, to find your center, to take just a few minutes alone to think things through, I promise you, the outcome will be so much better. At first, you might only find that mental quiet for a brief moment, but even that moment gives your body a precious kind of strength. It allows you to see yourself more clearly and to see the world more clearly. You become more present, more focused, which boosts your productivity in both work and life. No matter what challenges you face, if you know how to approach them with a calm mind, you'll solve them one by one, and you'll find the best way to shed those heavy burdens for good. Life is not easy, not at all. If you felt the world was a beautiful, perfect place when you were a child, thank your parents for sheltering you so well. But now, as an adult, you have to learn to walk this difficult road with a quiet strength. When a person is left to face it all, their mind can descend into chaos, stripping them of all motivation and drive. Don't let the turmoil of the world destroy you from the inside out. To keep your mind at peace, always and everywhere, that is the most valuable thing you will ever possess. There's a profound paradox in our modern world. To truly move fast, you must learn to be slow. We live in an age of constant rush and busyness, where everyone seems to be chasing a shortcut. We dream of doing less but achieving more, of hitting the jackpot overnight. And while this hustle can sometimes give us a temporary sense of accomplishment or a small taste of success, it often traps us in a spiritual crisis, a modern-day illness born from an obsession with now. You see, the most common flaw in our society today is a deep-seated, gnawing impatience. We are constantly in a race against the clock, aren't we? We act as if being 1 second behind will cost us everything. So we scarf down our meals to avoid being late for work. We rush through meetings just to squeeze in more overtime. Even our vacations become a frantic blur, a checklist of sights to see rather than moments to savor. The truth is, when we live our lives chasing speed, we lose so much of what makes life beautiful. In our frantic busyness, life itself begins to slip through our fingers. It reminds me of the ancient wisdom: do not chase speed, and do not be tempted by small, immediate gains. To rush is to fail. To grasp at small profits is to lose sight of the greater prize. You can't just blindly pursue speed in everything you do. True, lasting success isn't about the sprint right in front of you. It's about accumulation, persistence, and paying your dues. It's about understanding that sometimes less is more, and the slow way is actually the fast way. Think about it. Throughout history, the people who've accomplished truly great things have always possessed a deep sense of calm, an immunity to panic and impatience. When the stakes are high, they become even more deliberate, more careful. This is especially true for those who build lasting legacies. Their slowness isn't laziness, it's stability. It's the hallmark of maturity. A mature person, regardless of when they find their success, has a wealth of life experience. The wisdom they've gathered over the years creates an unshakable mindset, a quiet confidence that empowers them to handle life's biggest challenges. Choosing stability is a sign of true growth. No one just stumbles into success, especially not the kind that lasts. It's never a one-way ticket to the top. It's a climb, built on your own efforts, one steady step at a time. Someone once said, "The value of a goal isn't its size, but your persistence in pursuing it." Success is measured in longevity, not in speed. It doesn't happen in a single night. It's the product of daily grind and struggle, day after day, month after month, year after year. The truly successful are, in fact, incredibly deliberate in their journey. In a world that is constantly changing, those who are obsessed with becoming an overnight sensation will never win the final prize. Only by building a solid foundation, maintaining a pace that is right for you, and constantly working to improve your skills can you stand on solid ground. These successful individuals all share a powerful, unwavering belief. They hold on to this belief and let it guide them, step by patient step. In this world, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You don't get something for nothing. Your future is something you must build with your own two hands. And on the road to success, no one has a perfectly smooth ride. It is a long and difficult journey. Faced with a tough background or a lack of support, some people just give up. They let go and end up living a life of quiet desperation. But others, where they fall is precisely where they find the strength to stand back up. They gather what they've learned and start again. A truly mature and whole person has this rich reservoir of life experience. The years of accumulation forge a steady heart and a confident spirit, cultivating the outstanding qualities and abilities needed to achieve something truly meaningful in this life. They are masters of accumulation, taking slow, deliberate steps and building a rich foundation. They know that every great success is anything but an accident, and it certainly doesn't happen overnight. It is always the result of meticulous, long-term accumulation. The most important things in life must be gathered over time. Knowledge, wisdom, and relationships, which grow from nothing to something, from quantity to quality. And then, when the time is right, they are ready to unleash their unique talents upon the world. Take the incredible story of Jack London, the celebrated American novelist who was born into profound poverty. To survive, he started working from a very young age, often juggling multiple jobs in a single day. But even in this harsh, unforgiving environment, he never, ever gave up on his education. He built his literary genius piece by piece, seizing every spare moment as an opportunity to read. Whenever he discovered a beautiful word or a powerful phrase in a book, he'd write it down on a small card. Then, he'd stuff these cards everywhere he could reach, in his pockets, on his desk, by his bed. Whenever he had a free second, he would pull one out and study it. It was through this relentless, daily accumulation, this constant revisiting of knowledge, that he built an immense vocabulary. This practice sharpened his craft until he became a master and ultimately a world-renowned novelist. His book, The Iron Heel, even earned praise from figures like Vladimir Lenin, and so many of his other works became staples of American literature, shaping the very culture we live in. There's a powerful idea that says, for every measure of effort, there is a measure of reward. Day after day, month after month, what starts as small trickles of effort can gather into a mighty river. That's how miracles are made. How can you expect to walk 1,000 miles if you never take that first single step? How can you expect a great river to form without the small streams that feed it? Everyone seems to be chasing that dream of overnight success, but they're rarely willing to quiet their minds and do the deep, daily work of self-improvement. A dream, no matter how beautiful or grand, is completely worthless if your skills and character haven't been built up to match it. This is where a deep, unshakable resolve comes in. To solve the greatest problems, you must be willing to dig deep, to explore, to learn without giving up. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. Whatever you set out to do, you have to approach it with a spirit of profound inquiry and dedication. Even if you only put in 1% more effort than the person next to you, that single percent closes the gap between you and success. Because success was never meant to be easy. It demands our constant investment, our unwavering effort. Even if all you can see ahead is the faintest glimmer of hope, you cannot afford to give up. There's an old saying, with the will strong enough, you can move mountains and fill oceans. For the person who refuses to stop learning, who refuses to stop striving, the door to success will always, always be open. A calm, patient, and strategic mind is one of the most powerful tools you can possess. When you can face a crisis without panicking, when you can handle a disaster with a steady hand, it's not because you're slow. It's because you are in control. There's a legendary tale that illustrates this perfectly. The brilliant strategist Zhuge Liang was holding a small city with only 2,000 soldiers when he learned that an enemy general, Sima Yi, was advancing on him with an army of 100,000. Inside the city walls, panic erupted. His men were terrified, certain they were doomed. But Zhuge Liang remained perfectly calm. He told them, "There is no need to panic. I have a plan that will make Sima Yi retreat on his own." He then ordered his soldiers to open all 4 city gates wide. He himself walked to the top of the city wall, sat down, and began to calmly play his lute. When Sima Yi and his massive army arrived, they saw this bizarre, unbelievable scene. The gates were open, and the enemy commander was just sitting there, playing music as if he didn't have a care in the world. Sima Yi, a suspicious man by nature, was instantly filled with doubt. He was convinced it had to be an elaborate trap. Fearing an ambush, he ordered his entire army to withdraw. With nothing but his wits and his profound inner calm, Zhuge Liang won a battle without fighting, leaving behind a legacy of genius that has echoed through the ages. The more composed and steady you are in the face of chaos, the faster you will find the solution. Even when faced with the unexpected, these people maintain what we call a hot heart and a cool head. They are as solid as a rock, an anchor in the storm, and their stability gives an incredible sense of security to everyone around them. A person who can remain calm in a crisis possesses immense psychological strength. They maintain their rational mind when everything is falling apart, and in doing so, they reveal their true leadership. Anyone who wants to build something great in this world understands the importance of patience. Yu Minhong, the founder of a massive education group, once said something profound. Don't put too much faith in the idea that you have to have your life figured out by 30. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Live your life slowly, deliberately. When I was 30, I was flat broke. But as long as you keep working, keep persevering, and never give up on your goals, success will find you, sooner or later. Success isn't built from daydreams, and it isn't built from empty words. A person who doesn't put in the work will spend their entire life chasing fantasies. But for those who do the work patiently and persistently, success will slowly but surely come to them. The pressures of modern society are immense. The competition is fierce. But a truly successful person is someone who has lived a rich life, who has put in more effort than others, who has overcome every obstacle, and has finally earned the right to stand firmly on the mountaintop, gazing out at a breathtaking view that most people will never get to see. Success isn't something that can be changed by a fleeting burst of motivation. It's the daily grind, the effort and progress stacked up day after day, month after month, that finally forges the key to unlock that door. You have to understand, in this life, you can't just wish for overnight wealth. Even if you got it, that kind of success is like a house of cards. The slightest gust of wind, the first real challenge, and it all comes crashing down. We all want to succeed, to build something meaningful. It's so easy to look at those who achieve great things at a young age and feel a pang of envy, thinking it must have been easy for them. But only when you've truly lived, when you've weathered the storms of life, do you realize that success is never a straight line. It's not easy. Only through relentless hard work and constant learning can we become the truly successful people we admire. And that brings me to our fourth lesson, the power of solitude. It is perfectly normal to find that some friendships don't last a lifetime. Don't ever panic thinking that you're losing friends. Sometimes that distance is just a sign that you've outgrown that space, that you're no longer meant to walk the same path. You see, some people believe that the friends we make in life fall into two categories: friendships of utility and friendships of the soul. The first kind are your practical, reciprocal relationships. It's the you help me today and I'll be there for you tomorrow kind of bond. As long as the exchange feels fair and no one takes advantage, these friendships can last. But the moment one person feels the balance is off, the moment a request for help is denied, the connection starts to fade. Friendships of the soul, on the other hand, aren't built on what you can do for each other. They're not about your social status or your job title. They're about a deeper connection, a harmony between two spirits. These relationships can feel incredibly profound and last for a very long time, but even they aren't guaranteed to be forever. As we journey through life, our thoughts, our beliefs, our very identities are constantly evolving. And when two souls who were once perfectly in tune find that their fundamental beliefs have shifted in different directions, they naturally drift apart. We're often taught that life is about collecting as many friends as possible, but here's the truth. If you don't bring value to the friendship, if the connection isn't real, it doesn't matter what kind of friend it is. It won't last. A person's greatest challenge is always and will always be themselves. When happiness comes, you are the one who feels it most intensely. And when sorrow arrives, the person who feels the deepest pain is you. Truly mature and wise people don't put heavy expectations on their friends. They don't demand that they stay by their side through everything. They understand that true strength comes from relying on yourself and listening to your own inner needs. Sooner or later, you will learn that the only rock you can truly count on is the one you're standing on. Friends can give you a hand, but they can't carry you forever. They can help you sort through your confusion, but they can't heal the pain deep inside your heart. So why do we spend so much time searching everywhere for comfort? There won't always be someone there to hold an umbrella over your head when the storm hits. So why are we always looking for someone else to place our hopes in? Not every injustice we suffer will be understood by someone else. And if that's the case, then let it all turn into tears. Cry it out. Because after you do, a beautiful life is still waiting for you right there. Not every moment of exhaustion will have someone to feel that ache for you. And if that's the case, you don't always need to speak of it. Overcoming that hardship on your own is just another step in your growth. We are no longer children who fall and need someone to pick us up and soothe our tears. We have to learn to get up on our own, brush off the dust, and keep walking with strength. We are not yet the elderly who need someone to bring us our medicine. We have to be the ones to get out of bed, check our own temperature, and get back to the work that needs to be done. Stop trying to find comfort by constantly telling others about your struggles. No one can do the work that is meant for you, and you shouldn't try to lighten your own load by constantly complaining to others. The joy that you truly want is not something anyone else can give you. In those moments of loneliness, when it's just you, you have to realize that even if every other support system falls away, you still have to live well. You still have to find a way to smile through it all. Enduring these hardships alone is what forges you, what makes you stronger and more resilient than you ever thought possible. After the tear escapes from the corner of your eye, your smile will shine even brighter. In this vast world, there is no one else exactly like you. In a society filled with countless people, every single person is busy, tired, and fighting their own battles. No one can carry all of your burdens for you. No one will always be there to save you. If you don't have money, you can earn it, slowly. If you don't have a car or a house, you can work hard and save for it yourself. If your job feels boring and meaningless, you still have to be the one who perseveres. And if a love grows cold, then you must be the one who chooses to let it go. No one else can walk in your shoes. They can't feel the world through your heart, and they will never truly know the mountains you have to climb. So when you're facing those moments of deep hurt, when it feels like no one on earth understands, it's okay. Let the tears fall. Let them wash it all away. Because ultimately, this life is yours to live. You have to be the one to navigate the storms and step forward with a smile. The people who care about you, they can offer a hand, but they can't carry you for your entire life. A woman who relies on herself never has to beg, never has to plead. A man who relies on himself builds an unbreakable will. When you depend on yourself, your laughter is genuine and free. When you depend on yourself, you can build a life that is truly beautiful. Each and every one of us has the power to become our own unwavering rock. Embracing solitude is a form of wisdom, but learning to thrive in it is what makes you truly exceptional. The ancient philosopher Zhuangzi once said something that translates to, "The one who knows how to be alone is truly noble." This isn't about being lonely, it's about a state of freedom, of inner harmony, of becoming whole all on your own. It's about learning the profound art of being good company for yourself. Think about it. From the time we were kids, we were taught countless lessons on how to get along with others, how to fit into society, how to be a team player. But in all that training, we often forget the most fundamental truth. The greatest challenge we will ever face is the one looking back at us in the mirror. If you can conquer yourself, if you can learn to live in peace with the person you are when no one else is around, you can conquer anything. The truth is, solitude is an unavoidable part of the journey. So many entrepreneurs will tell you that during the grueling startup phase, they endured long stretches of crushing loneliness and failure. You'd think success would be the cure, but it often just introduces a new kind of isolation, a new set of challenges you must face alone at the top. In an interview with Insider, even the world's wealthiest man, Elon Musk, opened up about this. He admitted, "Loneliness has been a normal part of my life." He went on to say, "There are times when I'm lonely. I'm sure there are times when everyone is lonely. It's a pretty basic thing. Like if I'm working on the Starship rocket and I'm just there in my little house and my dog is not with me, then I feel quite lonely because I'm just by myself in a little house with no dog." And there's actually science to back this up. According to psychologists Satoshi Kanazawa and Norman Lee, people with higher IQs tend to have less need for social interaction. The reason? The more intelligent a mind is, the more uniquely it operates. This can make it harder to connect with others on a deep level. When understanding fails, the most comfortable path for everyone is often silence. This was especially true for geniuses like Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein. They were titans in their fields, and they were profoundly solitary. It wasn't that they couldn't socialize, it's that they didn't need to. They were far more interested in what truly mattered to them. In other words, they were happy to be alone. Zhuangzi shared another powerful story, a parable about two fish stranded together in a drying pond. They desperately splashed water on each other, trying to keep one another alive. He suggests that instead of this noble but futile struggle, wouldn't it be better if they could forget each other and swim freely in the vastness of a great river or the ocean? In your own life, if you have the chance to walk alongside a fellow traveler, whether for a month, a year, or a decade, that is an incredible gift. But at the end of the day, you are the only one who can complete your own journey. You must first become the master of your own fate. Only then can you truly live. The legendary Albert Einstein once said, "Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds." A person with a dream, who takes real action to make it a reality, who possesses the talents and the greatness to do it better than others, must, by definition, become different. They have to step away from the crowd that is lost in petty dreams of fame, status, fancy degrees, or the next party. That crowd is trapped by small worries, believing that success is a limited resource that you have to fight and claw over others to get. The great mind sees things differently. They understand a profound truth. Being different means being lonely, but it also means being free. In that space of freedom, their talent can finally flourish and bring them the success they deserve. A person of great wisdom isn't bothered by the gossip and noise of the world. They spend their time creating, innovating, and building, not wasting their breath trying to explain themselves to people who will never understand. They are simply accustomed to independent thought. It's a path that can be lonely, but it's overflowing with purpose. Their success is forged in the quiet fire of their own ability, not in the fleeting opinions of the world. Let's talk about the person who rarely posts on social media. The truth is, people who share less online tend to live more present, more mindful lives. Every truly successful person has an unwavering sense of self, a foundation so strong they can't be easily swayed by the shifting winds of opinion. In this vast universe, when you know what you truly want and hold firm to that vision, you won't be shaken by the judgments of others, and you certainly won't lose your way. Gaining support is wonderful, but not having it isn't a catastrophe. After all, your life is your own. It's like drinking a glass of water. Only you can know if it's warm or cold. In reality, those who constantly share their happy moments aren't necessarily living the best lives, and those who stay silent aren't necessarily struggling. To post or not to post is a personal choice, one that requires no justification or explanation to anyone. If you notice someone has been offline for a long time, they likely have their own reasons. As an outsider, you really don't need to worry about them. It's highly possible they have a clear plan for their future and they know how to focus on what truly matters to them, rather than trying to curate an image of a social butterfly in the digital world. When we're young, we often crave recognition from the outside world, and we go to great lengths to satisfy our own vanity. But later, after we've navigated through more of life's twists and turns, we mature. We begin to understand that our world is our own, and it doesn't depend on anyone else. We don't need to pretend to be someone we're not just to please others or to be liked. When you are genuinely kind and authentic, the right people will be naturally drawn to you. We believe that you've drawn your own powerful lessons from your journey. We would be so honored if you shared a lesson you've experienced in the comments below, so we can all grow and learn from one another. If this message resonated with you, please hit the like button and share it to help it reach more people who might need to hear it today. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more content to help you on your path. The Evolve Everyday team is incredibly grateful that you chose to spend your valuable time with us. Thank you for watching.